Richard was reading a verse from Torquem's book of poetry about sound and nature and the heart of the sun. It was interesting because I was listening to, interesting to me because I was listening to TED Talks this morning, and there was a conductor talking about and quoting Mendelssohn. And he said that Mendelssohn felt like music was more precise than the word, because people listen to words, spoken words, with their mind, and music, thinking it's more precise because music goes into our entire being. He said into all of our molecules. And I was thinking about how I think Mendelssohn had it right, but he didn't see the whole picture, because we recognize the importance of feelings, and feelings come from the heart. We listen to music with the heart, not with our mind. We listen to words with our mind, and then we interpret what we hear, through our filter system. Whereas when we listen to words or we listen to music through our heart, we don't interpret, we feel. So I was thinking, gosh, wouldn't it be great with these Sunday talks of being able to play music, right before, maybe in the middle, and maybe at the end. And then I thought, well, that would be impossible. And then it's like it was right in front of me. The teaching is music. So it's like a fusion of music and language. And the teaching is from the higher worlds, from the great ones, that we then listen and feel and put into practice. So I had a really good time listening to Richard's reading this morning, hearing TED Talks and what Mendelssohn had to say. That was fun. Anyway, so moving on. This morning I'm going to talk about the power of actualization. Actualization, defined by the teaching, is a process of manifesting our ideas, our plans and visions, and our virtues. It is the process of manifesting our ideas, our plans, our visions and virtues. So the question is then, how do our ideas and plans and virtues and visions manifest? And this is the key: through our thoughts. Through our thoughts and through our feelings. We can feel them. We can feel our thoughts. We can feel our visions. We can feel our plans. We can feel our virtues. Whatever they are, we can sense them, and then we aspire to them. Once we feel them, once we sense them, once we aspire to them, then we manifest. We manifest our vision, we manifest our plans, we manifest the virtues. We manifest our ideas. So that's the process. If we want to manifest anything, for example, the vision of a book, a spiritual center, a painting, a great movement, any kind of activities, then we are going to do the same process. As I go through this morning's talk, compare to events that have happened in your life where certain things have been actualized, have actually come into a physical manifestation. Make a mental note of it, and then think about the process that led to the manifestation of your idea, your hope, your vision, your plan. What kind of thoughts, what kind of integration in yourself, what kind of alignment did you act upon that eventually brought this idea into objective manifestation? So just think about that, because there's so much more we can do, in the future, because now we're going to be conscious about the power of actualization. For example, for a few years, I had a vision of what my first home was going to be like, or a plan of what my first home was going to be like. I wanted it to be just like my friend's home. We were both violinists, so I frequently spent time in her home. I went over to her house and we'd go through the music and practice together. And I really loved her home and the environment it was in. So in my heart, I decided that when it was time to buy our first home, it would be like this one. During those few years when I would visit, I kept the image of her home, in my heart and mind, and continued to imagine what it would be like to have such a house. Then one day came where my husband said it was time to buy our first home. We called the realtor and set up a contract with her. We then began to look for houses, houses for sale. I had not told the realtor about my plan, for it seemed financially out of our reach. Nothing we looked at, though, came close to what I had even hoped for. Then one afternoon, the realtor called and said, "Meet me at this address. I think I have just the home for you." Now keep in mind, I had not told her that I wanted a swimming pool at the central point for the rest of the house. I had not told her I wanted a small garden in the bathroom or a larger garden in the entranceway. I had not told her anything about my dream house. So I got into the car and drove to the address she gave me, and there it was, my dream home. It was the duplicate of my friend's home and the home of the contractor that had built my friend's house. What are the odds? His wife had become ill. They needed to move, so he put the house up for a quick sale, which greatly reduced the price, making it affordable for us. The home became ours. Isn't that interesting? First, mentally, we feel it. Emotionally, we feel it. We aspire for it so that it comes and is conceived by us. It's like we give birth to it. We're giving birth to the idea, to the virtue, to the plan, to the vision. If we go through this process, you can see that anything you want, anything that we want, is totally possible. That is the law of the universe. When we are engaging ourselves with the law of the universe, it is impossible not to be successful. The challenge is to find that process, that aspiration, that mental grasp, that emotional feeling, and then bring it into manifestation. It was through this process I was given my first violin as I entered college, a violin and a bow, both costing thousands of dollars. A simple thing perhaps, but as a youngster, I had dreamed of being a professional violinist. I even knew what symphony I wanted to play in when I graduated from school, which is the Chicago Symphony. I have no idea why. I thought that. But I had this gown all picked out in my mind of what I would be wearing, and it would be completely different from the drab black that back in the day the women were wearing, in symphony orchestras. It was really hot. Anyway, going back a little bit in time. So, dreaming of being a professional violinist, it was important that as a professional, that I had the best violin possible and best bow possible. But it didn't just happen. It took being aligned with my vision, having a sincere and honest desire to make myself ready to be the owner of such a musical instrument, and then to demonstrate it was not only a necessity, but that I would be responsible for it, that I would take care of it. So it became, in a sense, my red violin. And it was actually red. The conditions of building a thought form and the process of manifestation has 3 conditions. In other words, it doesn't just happen. If we want to be successful, there are 3 conditions to follow, which I'll give in a minute. When Christ said, "Stop" to the waves, they stopped. He is so powerful because he is the universe aligning with the laws of the universe. So keep this statement in mind, that he is so powerful because he is the universe aligning with the laws of the universe. For example, we are not too powerful. But if we plug ourselves into the electricity, we do and can do very powerful things because we are aligned. See, and that's a key word. This is one of the conditions, is to be aligned. For example, a sail on a boat by itself is not powerful at all. If you've ever been on a sailboat, or if you've ever been the navigator of a sailboat, you know you have to wait for that wind, for the sail to pick up the wind, and then you can move forward. Without the wind, you have no power. You're just sitting in the water. Suddenly the wind comes and the sail becomes powerful. This is because it united and aligned with the power of the universe. See, the wind, it progresses, it moves. People think that they are powerful, that they are the link. When that egotism or that self-arrogance is born within you, you cannot do anything, because what's happening is that you're separating yourself from all those powerful sources. You think your ego is it. You think that your bank account and your car and your position and the area that you live in is what makes you important. See, but it is not. That's our ego. And it's separating us from the laws of the universe. There's a very nice example in the Old Testament. God said to Moses, "Hit your staff on the rocks in my name, and the water will come." Well, Moses said, "I can do this on my own." And he said, "I want water." And in his desire to want water, he demonstrated a huge arrogance by saying, "I am somebody, I can do it myself." Then God told him, "You are not going to see the promised land." So our question is, what did God mean by using that phrase, the promised land? The promised land was not actual. This is so interesting. This is, of course, from the teaching. The promised land is nirvana. It's nirvana, which also means different states of consciousness. That's what the promised land is. Moses had just cut himself off in that moment because he believed in himself instead of believing in the Almighty One. We need to listen and remember this story for so many reasons, and because this is going to be a long talk and we have a short amount of time, I'm not going to go into it, but think about it. In our works, if we are doing something, if we have a plan, a vision, or an idea, we are going to actualize and bring it into manifestation. We are going to align ourselves and unite ourselves with the universal whole. See, it's not me. It's not my dominance, my so-called egotistical power. It's not that. So here are the three conditions. There's just three. One is integration. That's the first step. The next step is alignment. And the next step is very intense aspiration. So those are the three conditions: integration, alignment, and intense aspiration. Integration is the elimination. This is important because this also relates to the kind of meditator that you can become. Integration is the elimination of the cleavages in your physical, etheric, emotional, and mental planes. It is the elimination of cleavages. That's what integration is. Integration means you have assembled all parts of your nature, and now you're ready to progress. Now you're ready to move ahead. You are going to adapt or appropriate your physical nature to your emotional body, to your emotional nature, to your mind, and then to the etheric body. Integration is uniting all of your different bodies into one unit. And as I think you all know, that's not easy. But that's the first step. That's integration. When you are an integrated person, you are healthy, physically, etherically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. You are healthy. When you are integrated, you become a transmitter of energy. This is when you're integrated, you become a transmitter of energy. For example, if you have an electrical line that is broken in 3 or 4 places, you do not have electricity that you need to make your machine go, your instrument to perform. So integration is to make your personality such a united, integrated whole, a unit through which the energies of nature can manifest themselves. So when you have an idea, that idea is not going to go through if you have cleavages in your personality. In fact, we know that lots of psychological and psychosomatic diseases occur when your personality is not together. There's no integration. It's like that violin, my red violin. No matter how many thousands of dollars that violin cost, if there had been no sound post, there would have been no sound. That sound post and the placement of the sound post inside that beautiful violin is all important to create sound in that instrument. That sound post, we could say, is our connection with our solar angel. If our physical body is integrated and we are aligned, that sound post is the symbol of our alignment to the solar angel. We're going to play beautiful music. Then I was thinking, what if a string on your violin, that red violin, broke? And it did. I remember playing in the orchestra, the symphony orchestra, of which was professional, and boom! It's like, it's shocking when your string pops open like that, and everybody's playing for a concert and a performance, and all of a sudden you have 3 strings and not 4. You're disabled. There's nothing you can do till break. Then you put in your another string and tune it up, and you're on the road again. Our strings do break occasionally. We go through a crisis, and for a while our instrument doesn't play, beautiful music, because it's broken. It has a broken string, and we have to heal it. So that's just, part of life. But anything that is integrated has the power of transmission. That is a very important idea that we need to keep in our mind. Integration is the best conductive mechanism. That is why the dark forces do not choose stupid people. Isn't that interesting? They do not choose stupid people. The dark forces choose people who are integrated because they can use his or her machine, his instrument. The machine is ready, and the thief can jump into your car, into your vehicle. The car works, and the thief drives it. This is called possession. Okay. So how can we protect ourselves from such a situation taking place? This is where the second condition comes in, which is called alignment. Your personality must be integrated and also aligned. Aligned means that you are taking the wire, the fuse, and putting it into the socket. Our physical, emotional, and mental natures, in other words, are aligning with the higher self. We're putting our entire mechanism, plugging in to the higher self, the solar angel. That is, in fact, one of the requirements for right meditation. This is right meditation, active sea thought meditation. We have to first integrate ourselves. This is our process of meditation, right? And then the next step is alignment. This is so important in your meditation, so that we plug into the higher self. It's so funny, we sit and start meditation, but it does not work. We instruct you to be sure at the beginning of your meditation to align yourself and to integrate your body. So you need to say to yourself when you're sitting in front of your meditation altar or you're out in nature, you need to say to yourself, mentally, you need to say to yourself, I am integrated. I see physically, emotionally, and mentally that I am together, that I am relaxed. What's happening is now you feel it. Now you feel it. Then you say, well, you can think about your solar angel, or you can think about Christ if you're not familiar with or comfortable with the idea of your solar angel, or whatever you want. What is happening is now you're creating a contact, you're creating a link. You are bridging your personality with the source of power that is in you. A higher spiral is when you can align yourself with your master. Now the communication line is there. In every meditation, you're going to integrate and align. When you are integrated and aligned, it is then you feel that your instrument is ready to absorb these ideas and energies and inspirations and impressions. See, now you are aligned. For example, if I had purchased a superior quality crafted violin when I was first starting to play the violin at age 7, I would have been ignorant. See, how to hold that precious violin in my hands, how to manipulate the bow, how to read music, how to perform music. I had no integration, see, no alignment. I had to make myself ready. Have you ever heard someone pick up the violin for the first time and try to, bless my parents, you know. It's just terrible. And then I had to teach violin for a while as an adult, and I couldn't do it. Could not. It's horrible sounding. Anyway, it takes a patient parent. Just like we must make ourselves ready to have direct contact with our master, we must have intense aspiration, integration, alignment, and of course the intense aspiration. Actualization has many levels. For example, you want to eliminate poverty, homelessness, hunger in the world. We want to actualize these things. We would like to do that. It is very practical and a compassionate action, to do these things. So first we see the vision, have a sense of the vision. And this vision is that homelessness is going to disappear. Hunger is going to disappear. Not only in your own country, but in other countries. Let us say that you want to share the teachings with your community, with your country, and in other countries. You are going to create this vision in such a way that you start aspiring toward it. You want to do it. You say, God, until you make me practically expressed and actualized, I am not going to let you go. That is aspiration. If you are sincere, he's going to say, well, no. And then again, no. And then 3 more times, no, no, no. And then he's going to say, God's going to say, she is such a headache. Let me give her everything she wants. And you have it. See, we have to prove ourselves. We have to make ourselves ready. Aspiration occurs when you feel a vibration in your spine and your head, and you feel inside of you that you are magnetic to these energies. So aspiration is to put yourself in a state of intense magnetism. That's what aspiration is. You put yourself in a situation of intense magnetism. Aspiration creates a magnetism that the vision, that the energy, that the plan, the idea impresses itself into our mechanism, our aura, and we absorb it. This is because the way now is clean. The physical, emotional, and mental nature is clean, it is integrated, and it is aligned. It is safe now for you to receive energies because you are aligned with what? The higher self. See, the light and love and power of the solar angel. With this alignment, we're going to be discriminate, and we're going to watch and guard the kind of influence that is coming into our system. In fact, our solar angel, because of our alignment, is making sure we don't go off course. So the actualization process works for our personality, for our individual. It also works for our group and nation. Actualization is a process by which you bring into manifestation latent potentials within you and make them tangible and living. People need to be able to see them and benefit from them. We can put lots of ideas into action and show that we are in the process of actualization, actualizing the true self. Now, there are other powers we want to actualize, and this is from the teaching. The first is observation and attention. The teaching says actually clairvoyance is the result of keen observation and attention. And that clairvoyance only starts with those of us who practice and develop observation. For example, if for 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 lifetimes we exercise observation of anything, it awakens that something within our nature that begins then to allow clairvoyance to occur. It is like the lens of our camera is slowly opening and seeing you who you as you are, as things are. Thus, in a few lives, we begin to show clairvoyance. The second is discrimination, which I had mentioned. Discrimination means to have right choice and right judgment. We need to develop this because most of our troubles are the result of the lack of discrimination. We do things we should not do. We say things we should not say. We relate with people that we should not be relating with. Number 3, contact with the higher worlds. These are other powers that we can actualize when we are ready. Contact with the higher worlds, which is done through meditation, it is done through prayer, and it is done through contemplation. That's number 3. Number 4 is telepathy. Daily, try to purify your aura, and especially your mental body, to register the thoughts of those that you want to register, and try to talk with them telepathically. That's telepathy. And these, are very short, a short 101 of these powers, like a seed thought for you to further think about and develop. So the 5th one is clairaudience. You can develop clairaudience by listening to people. Most people today want to talk. But if you're a disciple, you're going to listen to people. And it's not only listening, it is also not mixing what you hear with your own opinions and so forth. We usually can hear, but as you're listening, what's happening in your own thought process? Oh, no, I don't agree with what they're saying. Oh, you're so boring. Would you hurry up and finish? Which means you're not really listening. When we start developing pure hearing, your clairaudience will build up, and then it will suddenly reveal itself and actualize itself. You're also going to hear their emotion, as well as hearing their thoughts. This is interesting. Hearing is a registration of frequencies. Hearing is being impressed by frequencies and vibration. See, this is something Mendelssohn didn't know about back in the day. An emotion is a frequency. We have so many kinds of emotions. Each emotion has a different kind of frequency, so they differ from each other. Your instrument discriminates between them. You hear these things because now you are so sensitive. your second ear, your etheric ear, starts to open. When your etheric ear starts to open, you register the frequencies that are coming from people. Immediately, when you do anything, you feel anything, you think anything, you aspire for anything, you radiate certain kinds of frequencies. These frequencies are totally observed by your master. They totally see what is happening. They hear you. They see you. They sense you. That is why at certain times they come to help if it is necessary. And if they don't come to help, it's because they don't want to bother themselves with you. So you're not ready. This is why it is important to learn how to listen. Learn how to listen to people, because hearing will develop your clairaudience. Actualization of these powers happen if we are integrated, if we are aligned, if we are aspiring, because they create a channel for higher forces, higher energies, greater potentials to come down and become an instrument in our hand. And of course, beyond personal actualization, there is group actualization. So I'm just leaving you with this idea. Your group will have occasions that test the integrity and the alignment and the aspiration of the group. And when these three conditions are created, it is impossible that the group cannot do anything it wants. You can say this to yourself: my personal integration, my alignment is related to my higher self. Group integration is related to the hierarchical plan. The group is going to manifest the hierarchical plan in its actions, in its aspirations, in its thoughts and creativity and relationships. I just love this talk because this is like the esoteric understanding of energy follows thought. You know, that is a like the introduction into metaphysics when we first learn that energy follows thought. Now we're seeing the science of what it means when energy follows thought. This is the science of it. So, get ready. I can hardly wait to see what you manifest. Telepathy, clairaudience, the etheric ear opening.